All right. Thank you for coming back from lunch. We tricked you into needing a table to sit at to eat your lunch. You had to come back, right? So we are going to now go into a little bit more advanced sort of search. Instead of it being one field you fill in, there's an opportunity to fill in more than one field. Basically, is what it boils down to. So this tab for My Search at the top, if you switch to that functionality, you can see here you've got a lot more to choose from by default, quite a few fields. This is where searching by subdivision can happen. You can see right here is the subdivision search field. And again, sort of like region isn't really the word I would use. When I mean county, I would just say county. You know, I wouldn't say region. Down here at the bottom, I wouldn't probably say attributes. I would say criteria, edit the criteria. What do I want to search by? So in the lower right down there, it says edit attributes. If you wanted to add in searching by something else, owner occupied, yes or no, or whatever else it might be. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of attributes that you can search by. Again, it's kind of a checkbox system. Bottom left corner lets me know I've chosen 16 of the possible 30 things that I could use. The little X's over here to the right, to the left of those that are already selected, will take it out. So if I don't care to have land use codes, for instance, in there, I just click that, and now I have more that I can choose from to put over there. Okay. Again, I can have up to 30 if I want. And owner name, owner occupied, yes or no, parcel ID, pool type, sales date, recording date, roof materials. If you can think of a data field, it's probably one that you can select to search by. You look like you might have a question for me.
One of the things that concerns me a lot when I'm fixing to list something is, it brought to mind when I saw your foreclosure distressed property zone. That is the tax.
How does it know that? How do it know? I have a very formal answer for you on that one. And I'm going to pull up my email and read it straight to you. If you'll give me just a moment to go through this section real quickly, I'll pull that back up because they just told me Friday, and I don't remember fully the answer that they gave me.
It's an important thing to know.
It is important. It is all verified data. Obviously, they didn't just decide to tell us that. I just have to get CoreLogic's email pulled up here. And then I'll answer that fully. Oh, Bessie, it just takes a minute. I've asked her to do 3 different things at one time, so give her a minute, and then we'll get to that email. Okay. So again, back at this My Search page, once you've decided which attributes or pieces of criteria that you do or don't want to use, subdivision, I think might be one of the more common pieces, so that's why I keep mentioning it. If you want to search by subdivision, you click the button that says Select from List, which then shows you no list. It's kind of, again, weird, in my humble personal opinion, kind of cart before horse-ish. So if I want to search by a subdivision name, I click Select from List, and then I type the name of what I think they call the subdivision in tax, okay, or part of it. So I can type Oak Ridge, which is where Crossbow happens to fall. Technically, that 310 Crossbow is in Oak Ridge North A. So I could, if I wanted, type out Oak Ridge North A. Again, does the tax record have just an abbreviation N, or does it have NOR, or does it have NORTH? Pros and cons. So if I just do Oak Ridge, click search, the left will give me a list of anything that contains those 2 words, and then I move to the right what I actually want to use and have as part of my search. Okay, so you can see here I've got Oak Ridge and Oak Ridge, Live Oak Ridge Place, Oak Ridge North, Oak Ridge this, Oak Ridge that. Okay, so looking down through the list, again, I've got quite a few to choose from, and I can have up to 100 that I actually use. So however many over here, I could move potentially up to 100 over here and generate labels, pull up properties, whatever it is I needed to do with that data. Okay, so technically that subject property was in Oak Ridge North A. Let's say, hypothetically, I want to look at that whole section or subdivision. You just click it and then click the arrow to move it to the right. You can actually hold down your control key and select more than one. So if you want quite a few, and then you click the arrow, you'll move them all over at one time. So you can do it one at a time, or you can do a bunch like that. Okay. And then once you click apply, it will pull up a selection shown here. It's not searching yet, but then I can add my other attributes in. Okay. Off to the right is a little menu to clear just this one field or delete this field from my search options. So again, where I removed land use codes a moment ago, I went into edit attributes, then I unselected it from there. I can unselect something from here and not search by that. This does have some sort of a wildcard-ish feature in some of the fields, most of the fields. These little ises, I don't know if that's a word, the little is menus, if you click is, it gives you options. So it either is a certain city or it starts with a certain few letters or one word or something like that. Zip code is, you can move them around, by the way. Is between, is greater than, is less than. So again, each of the little field or attributes is going to have its own options. Acreage is between this and that, is or is not this or that, is greater than or less than. So you can modify those. Somebody had asked me earlier about wildcards. Now I can sort of use a wildcard. I cannot type that symbol like I'm used to in Tempo, the percent, minus, equal. Those don't work if you physically type those. But that's the updated sort of version, different version of a wildcard is these extra menus. And again, that's kind of Fusion-esque. If you're a Fusion user, that's the way that you modify your custom searches as well. All right, so back up to the top just a bit. We have these icons. The little piece of paper on the far left is to start a brand new from scratch search. So if I type a few things here and I just want to start all over, I click the little white piece of paper there in the top left, and it'll start over. I can again clear each individual field one at a time. So if I just wanted to clear these subdivisions out and pick a different one, or change yes or no to pool or whatever else, you can do that one field at a time as well. And obviously you can just manually pick and choose a couple of different things to delete from that search criteria as well. Save and open are the next two. We'll open and save, technically. I don't think we'll ever have another symbol other than the 1986 floppy disk for save. I don't know what else you would pick. So the little floppy is save. The little folder is open what you have saved. There is a foreclosure search, a general search, and I think one more pre-saved owner or seller name search. Those are presets in there. But again, if I open edit attributes, check a few boxes, uncheck a few more, make it whatever I want, and then click save, I can call it whatever I want. So I can call it my, AfterNote search, or my 3-bedroom, 2-bath house search, or the houses only with fireplaces search, or whatever. There isn't a known limit to how many saved searches you can have. So you can put in a bunch of different custom things there. If it's something that you feel like you'll use more than one time, then that can save you a little trouble after the fact, recreating the wheel over and over. But if you just need to, on the fly, create a search by that, you don't have to save them at all. Okay. And then, like I say, whatever you choose to save, you just click this little folder and it'll be there in that menu of saved searches to choose from. The next icon over clears all the fields. Basically, it does the same thing as the little white piece of paper. Starts from scratch. Okay. And then this is a search history or recent searches. So if I had opened my custom save search and run that, then it would show me that search name and the foreclosure and the general search or whatever. So it just gives me a quick overview of what I've used in this session. So if I'm doing more than one, I can easily flip back and forth between the two that way as well. Okay, so that is kind of the basic of the more advanced, the customized My Search section. Once we actually click search, the only criteria I put in there is those now 4 sections of subdivision across Oak Ridge. So once I click search, it will go out and find maybe however many properties are in all 4 of those different sections. So I could get 10, 20, a bazillion, 400, whatever, depending on how many sections or how many houses are in each section, and so on and so forth. Pros and cons. my map, if you'll notice at the top, to map, I can't do it. The 200, map has a 250 limit, so I can only see 250 at a time on the map, but I can see up to 1,000 on the grid. So there are 544 total properties. I just can't see all those on the map because it would be a giant blob of red. It's too many pins. I can't do that. So if I pare this down, just for the sake of being able to show you that other function, and search again, it'll update, and hopefully we're under that 250 mark at this point. And that's what it looks like. As you can see, it's a giant bucket full of pins poured all over the map, right? So all of those two clusters are bunches and bunches and bunches of pins together. I'm now down to only 219 total properties. Pardon me. Okay. If you double click the map, you can zoom in. You can also use the plus and minus over here. And if you're braver than I am, or your eyes don't bother you as much as mine, you can scroll in with your scrolly wheel on your mouse, but it's really fast when you do that. So you end up, these are all just addresses. In this case, the color coding doesn't count. Right, we're just doing geography at this point. Okay. Her question was, are these sold because the pins are red? If they're square, it's just showing you that it's where it is geographically. If it's a little round, sort of balloon-shaped one, then the color matters, to put it in very simple, basic sort of terms. So if you click on any one of the pins, it gives you that sort of pop-out view, eventually, that I was talking about before. In this case, whatever it couldn't find in the tax record, it also could not find in MLS. The property doesn't have an MLS record. So, like I mentioned before, there's nothing at all in the. It's kind of a glitch in Montgomery County's data. More often than not, you will not see any bedrooms in Montgomery County homes. So I'm sure there are some, so verify that data. The little symbols toward the bottom, quick zoom will zoom and center the map to that one house. The little ruler will zoom and center and show me the measurements of the lot, the length and width of the lot, like we saw earlier. And then the other icon is that same tax report full detail view. So again, anywhere I click on the map, I can get that little quick shortcut to that. I happen to have clicked on one of these pins to get that, and if you'll notice, it's highlighting in my grid for me as well. So that's property number 153, and eventually my little pop-out will pop out. And if we kind of scroll through our list, let me just see if I can find any of the other types of properties. So this is, again, this color coding means something because it's a little round balloon. This is an active property. That's a sold property through MLS. Those square ones are just, here it is, type pins. Okay.
It doesn't pull the bedrooms from the MLS?
If it is if it has been in MLS, it would have. That particular property also has not been in MLS. You can see here there's no sale date, no MLS date. But again, like we saw in the very, very, very beginning, way back before, the delicious chicken and our tummies were full and all that. Hen, technically I think it was Cornish hen, but it would say MLS:3. So we would know it pulled from MLS if it could find that. Okay. On this one, for instance, it will do that. So now you can see the MLS beds is 4, the MLS sales price, the MLS bathrooms. I've got a photo of it. These little arrows pointing like that mean go look at the MLS stuff. So that's the MLS report, sales report, versus this icon, which is the tax report. Okay. All right, and then something that I had mentioned, which we had not done just yet, and I'm not going to do it yet either. I'm going to just keep mentioning it, and then eventually I'll actually do it. You can literally just click on the map. It doesn't have to be one of the map pins. Just anywhere at all you click, you'll get that little pop out of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, the plats, and so forth. We'll do that, I promise, very soon. So now I have these 219 total records down at the bottom. Again, my controls are all down at the bottom. I can view the reports for all 219 of them if I would like to. I don't like to right now. I might like to do that another time, but I don't care to do that at the moment. Then right here, your create labels and export data probably is most likely what you're going to want to do. Excuse me. Pardon me. We're both struggling. It's too much fresh air out there today. All right, so if I click Create Labels, it will create labels. And you've got the choice of the format, 20 or 30 per page, 20 per page I think that is. You don't have to buy the Avery brand. Just be sure that you buy labels that say comparable to the Avery 5160s or whatever, so that the format, the layout's correct. And then you've got mixed case capitalization, like the M in Maryland would be capitalized and the ARILIN would be lowercase. Caps all the way across is your other option. And then the tax billing versus the property address. If the owner is an absentee owner, they live in Michigan, they're leasing out their home here, you mail something to Michigan is the address it's going to pull. The property address is the actual physical property in those sections of Oak Ridge. And you have on both the option to put a custom label. Everyone loves to mail out and receive current resident mail, right? So, oh no, I think you're the only one. I think you're the only one. I save all mine. So I could type current resident, future homeowner, friendly neighbor, and it can be in addition to or instead of the owner's name. So if I don't click the box that says show the owner's name, it will only do current resident or whatever I type in the box. If you check the box that says Marilyn Maxwell or current owner. Okay?
So you'd have to use labels. You couldn't put that in a spreadsheet and print it out.
If you do the export, it'll take it to Excel for you.
Okay.
Okay? Create labels is these three pre-formatted types of labels, and then you can do whatever you want with it when you export it.
Okay.
So if you put it in Excel, you can create a mail merge of letters or your own labels or whatever you'd like.
Something like Top Producer.
I think that it downloads a CSV file,
Then it
so you could do what you would like with that. I can't remember if it's CSV or text. I'll click it and just double check. But either way, you should easily be able to get it in Top Producer.
You should be able
Yeah. And one sort of, one disclaimer is you do have a limit to the number of records that you can download. You can only download 10,000 records every month. It'll reset. So if you hit your 10,000 mark in a month, you just have to wait till next month before you can download more records. So there is a limit, but it's very, very high. So hopefully that will be quite accommodating and you won't have any problems not being able to get what you need. Export, there is not a limit. Again, we can customize which fields we do or don't want to export. So whatever is checked will be a column. So you can download however many, up to 99 different columns or fields worth of information. So address, owner's name, fireplace, floor covering, full baths. I mean, there's lots of possibilities there. And then, oh look, they added in a cap, so you can only export to 10,000 records a month apparently now also. Okay. And then it's not going to tell me very easily, so I apologize, I don't remember if it's CSV or text, but both of those will easily go into Top Producer, Excel, or wherever else you need them. Yeah. And then edit grid, again, pretty self-explanatory. It changes the grid. So if you wanted to move a column over or take out a column, put in a column, whatever it might be. If we're scrolling over here to the far right to get the MLS sales price, maybe I want the MLS sales price on the far left. Again, it's just a matter of checking that and customizing it and deciding which columns I do or don't want to have. Yes, sir?
Can you customize, I'm on the way on the left,
The search criteria?
Can you move things up and down there?
You can. If you click and hold down, you can slide them up and down. So subdivision could be at the top or the bottom. Again, you can take out a field by clicking there or going to edit attributes and unclick it or checking to add it in. You can also drag and drop from here so they can be in whatever order you want there. So 6 one, half dozen of the other.
Okay.
I like to rearrange them here more than I like to rearrange them over there. It's just how my mind works. Seems less sensory overload for me. I'm going to cancel and not save those, but you would click apply and be able to save that stuff. Okay? So those are, again, your sort of more advanced searching type options. You can, again, click and see just the map view, just the grid view, or our split view. And again, just the way my mind works, I like all the stuff all in one spot, so split works well for me. Okay. And also, now you can sort by these columns. So if I want them in owner name alphabetically, alphabetized, if I want them in street address order, if I want them in zip code order, if I want them in year built order, if I want them in assessed value order, whatever it is, you just simply click the little arrow, and it now, those are all in building square footage order, bedroom order, bathroom order, whatever. Okay, so pretty quick and easy. Again, kind of Fusion-y. If you're used to using Fusion, you can do some of those things in Fusion as well. All right, so a couple of extra little tools. Again, I'm finally now going to show you what I've been talking about. I'm just going to double click on my map to get it a little further. If I click the map somewhere, anywhere, I get that little pop out. This is to zoom in further. This is to zoom and see the measurements of the lot. And this is the tax record. And again, if there were MLS data, it would have those two little arrows so that I could see the MLS link as well. But if I just click the ruler, it zoom and centered my map and is showing me measurements of the lot. Not related at all to the search I did. I just clicked somewhere on the map and found something else. Pros and cons, it's not at all related to the search I just did. Okay, so if you accidentally click the map, you might end up with some extra data there. Okay. And to go back where I'm seeing all my pins and fix the map back, you just click search and it'll do it again. So pretty quick to get back where you came from if you accidentally veer off into map functions. Okay, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to clear everything. Just my habit is I like to clear what I was just showing you and show you the next thing, because it gets to be a little sensory overload again. The map and stuff can get a little full. So I'll just clean house to clean up my map to show you the other functions we've got over here to the far right. The pencil, again, we can draw search by map similar to what we can do in MLS. We've got a circle or radius, a rectangle, polygon, a line, and an annotation. I can't think of anything even smart alecky to say about searching by line, but I'm sure there is a reason that you would want to search on one particular street or something. I'm sure it may actually be a freehand sort of, no, it's a line because polygon is your freehand. So edit that part out. The radius, again, is a radius, pretty self-explanatory. So if they live at, this particular address and they want to be 5 miles away from their Aunt Susie or close to work or whatever it is, you can do that. Or if you want to find all the homes within a 10-mile radius of the ExxonMobil Corporation or whatever, you can do that. Again, we're doing tax here. We're not doing MLS, so just consider that when you're pulling up your data. The annotation tool is, again, just exactly what you would think the title means. If you click that tool, you click on the map, you click to annotate, and I can type whatever I would like. Aren't they building, isn't a new business coming to the Woodlands very soon? All the time, right?
Yes.
So I could put future site of Chevron's headquarters or whatever it's going to be, okay? Or this is where your mother-in-law lives, or this is the house that we looked at last week that is already sold, or this is a lovely park, or, community center has this, that, or the other. Okay, so anything at all that you want. Again, because I'm the disclaimer queen, right? Know your target audience. Make sure that what you're typing there isn't your opinion and trying to influence them. And, that it's accurate. Minor detail. Okay? So you can do that. The polygon is limited to up to 40 sides. So our points. We've got up to 8 points in tempo, up to 30 points in the search by map on Fusion, up to 40 points here. So we're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more control as we grow. So the polygon, you again just select the tool, click the map, and move in any direction, tapping, clicking to form your area. And it tells you the square mileage that you're drawing. Double click to tell it you're done. Just minimize that real quickly. And then you do have to come over here and click search. So that's not like Fusion. Fusion, if I draw on the map, it automatically just searches thin. I just now get out of the habit of sitting and waiting for it to do something because I'm used to Fusion doing it. So you draw on the map, then you have to come over here and click search. Okay? You click this to clear your shapes. And again, you can have multiple shapes if you want to do that. So the next menu item down is layers or overlays. Again, these are also available in Tempo and Fusion. If you check zip, for instance, it's a zip code boundary, city limits, the boundaries of the county, the school districts, the market area map, the quote-unquote real people names of the parts of town. Geo-market area is another thing that you may have heard it called. MLS is just your realtor-centric numbers, which mean nothing to the consumers, right? So that'll kind of outline the boundary of those, and if I scoot out a bit, you'll be able to see the edge just a little better. So you can see Area 15 ends there and starts 14 over there and so forth. So it's not color-coded like some of the other maps, but it's still describing all of this is Area 15 and all of that's Area 14. The MUDs, it will do a boundary again of where a MUD starts and stops. If you double-click and zoom in, just a couple MUDs there, right? It's muddy all over with its little brown lines, but if you double-click and zoom in, then eventually you'll be able to see the name of the MUD. Right now I can't because I'm not quite close enough, but another layer in, and I should be able to see those starting to appear. So here's County MUD 36. So anything in that area is in that MUD. And again, those layers are also available in both Tempo and Fusion in your mapping. Last on the list is flood zone. Anybody interested in finding floodplain information not only just in Harris County? How many counties can we look in? Okay, so anywhere at all. Actually, for the flood zones, you can look anywhere in the country. So if I want to know if that house in Connecticut's going to flood, I can actually look at that map. So once you check the box, it's a color coding type thing like I mentioned. And my legend is not showing for some reason. But orange means not in a floodplain. Purple, light purple means 500-year floodplain. 500-year floodway for the little bit darker purple. Dark navy blue is bad. You should have 2 boats if you live there. Coastal flood. It's supposed to give a legend across the bottom, so y'all should see that. Mine just only yesterday stopped working the right way, so I don't know why that's happening, but I'll get it fixed. But it would tell you, dark blue is this and light blue is that and purple is this and orange is that. It'll have a little kind of a scroll on the right. So orange, which is not in, isn't in the legend at first. You have to scroll on the legend to get the rest. Okay, sorry I can't show you that. I don't know why I can't. But so anyway, the color coding helps tremendously. And like I say, you can be anywhere in any of the county. This is Montgomery County, obviously. We could be in Fort Bend or Brazoria or Waco or Washington State or Connecticut or whatever. So.
Now, where does that information
It comes from a couple of different third-party resources. I can't remember the name of it. Infographics is the name of the company that collects the data and feeds it through.
and how, do you have any clue about how often they update it?
It is supposed to be as accurate and up-to-date as their database. So they try to, whenever the flood, I know that sounds like, that was me not being sarcastic or anything. That was a lawyer answer. I like that. Like the county appraisal districts, I know that's not your question, but the HCAD updating and reporting is usually every month or so. In Montgomery County, they do it every 3 to 6 months on the tax information. Pardon me. So whenever the floodplain, FEMA, updates the floods and redraws the floodplain or reevaluates, then we get that almost immediately upon that happening. So if they redraw it and change it or there's new data, we'll get it. So
It comes directly from FEMA, or it comes from FEMA through your
it comes from that infographics. They're pulling it from wherever they can get the data. So if they have to go to FEMA to get it, they can get it. If it comes from just the county, if it depends where in the state you go, whether it's more accurate at the county level or FEMA level or whatever, but more often than not, it's the national. Yeah, more often than not. You're rarely ever going to find anything at all that's not national and real and verified. And everything's verified in there anyway, so you shouldn't ever find anything inaccurate. Worst case scenario, a 20-minute lag time. The short answer to your question. All right, the little map pin is property and sales information. All right, so this gets into those distressed, which again, I promise I'm going to find the official answer on the source for you here in just a second. It's all new to me too. It's a brand new system, so it's, pardon me for needing to refer back to my email here in just a second. But if we check the little box, auction properties have these little yellow pins, bank-owned or green REO sales would be red. If there are any in that area, then it'll put a little marker on the map for me. You can barely see right here. There's one auction sale over there. I mean, one auction property currently. One bank-owned or REO, and then REO sales. Again, it just drops those little color-coded pins if there are any. There may not be any in the map view. It's just whatever I can see on the map currently. So these are, again, auctions and REOs and all of those different types of properties being pinned and mapped. If you click the little pin, it gives you that pop-out that we've been seeing, so it'll know the address, the bedrooms, bathrooms, and all that. And then the next one is sales based on tax data. So if I check the box, I can go 3, 6, 9, or 12 months back. The next is MLS data. So current active pendings, expireds, sold, again 3, 6, 9, or 12 months back. And it would put a bubble for my actives and solds and so forth in the color coding. Color coding counts on that one as well. And then property characteristics. Simple minds, simple pleasures. I think this one's really cool and I like to show it. If I click on owner name, it'll literally put the owner's names on the map for me. So Winger owns that house, Said, Bahas, Cox.
If you're trying to learn your neighbors, this would be a great.
Perfect tool for that, exactly. So again, pros and cons, right? Address, APN, which is your tax ID number, the lot measurement or area, the actual address. So there are other things that you can overlay and show on that map as well. Because I'm zoomed fairly far out, it's just a whole bunch of numbers all over, but if I was zoomed more in, I could see that one is 254 Basswood Drive or whatever. Okay, so fun with overlays there. And then the next sort of little trend, little chart or graph. This, again, if you're interested in foreclosure, this would be the place to go for that. The number of homes in foreclosure and or the percentage. And again, it's going to be color-coded. This legend also is not showing for some reason. The darker blue, you can see barely on this side of 45, it's a little darker blue than that side of 45. The darker blue is less than 0.5% in foreclosure. The lighter blue is less than 5%, less than 0.5%, less than 1, I'm going to get this out, less than 1% on the right, less than 0.5%, more than, less than 1%. More than 1%, less than 1%. So this is 1 to 5, and that's 0.5%. Probably shouldn't have tried to have any food. I should have just focused on caffeine only at lunch. All right, so again, you will all see your legends, hopefully, and all of that will make a lot more sense. Single family only, condos only. So there's not a huge amount of stuff there in the trends. Your binoculars are your points of interest, your Bing, what's nearby kind of things. Check the box for education. You'll see anything related to education. That can be daycare up to a university and everything in between. Same thing with restaurants. Food and dining would be, the Quickie Mart at the gas station all the way up to a 5-star restaurant. So whatever Bing believes to be there is what it will mark on the map for you. The little car is super basic driving directions. You manually type one address in the top, and you manually type the second address, and then you can print or email driving directions from that one destination to the other. So it's not related to the map, it's not pulling from the grid, it's you manually type one and manually type the other, and then plot it out. And then the last is a locator tool, the little magnifying glass there. If I type 310 Crossbow, it will now zoom and center my map to 310 Crossbow. Or if I type San Diego, California, it'll zoom and center my map to that. Okay, so at least put, if you have an address, at least put a city and state, if not zip. It can find city names. I've tried that before and it's worked. So again, if you need to do that, you can do that. I've also had success with it finding just only a zip code. So if I put just 77386, it'll zoom and center my map to that. And then the last icon is to clear everything off the map. So if I could have turned on quite a few different layers and so forth, but I don't care to do that when I teach particularly, because it's an awful lot all over the map all at one time. But if you click this little red and white minus signed, it'll clear out everything and start from scratch, basically, just like over here would do as well. Okay? So those are all the possibilities in the mapping. Any questions on those?
I was
Okay.
just gonna see if I could do it on my phone, on the app, on the HAR app.
Mhm.
Can you get to Realist from the
It's
HAR?
not integrated into the app yet because their app is not supported yet. Maybe, possibly May-ish, their app will be ready to go, so we'll be able to pull that in. So thank you, that's another good point. Again, like I planted her. I was going to say that. I just didn't yet.
At what point when we pull up a property detail and click the tax account button, will it go to Realist?
We're projecting at least a 90-day